Hi, it's Chaplain Greg. I'm someplace completely different. I'm in Lincoln Park, down by the lakefront in Chicago. Let me show you around. This is a beautiful place called North Pond. I thought we would walk along here and I could talk to you. This is North Pond. In the distance you see the John Hancock building and lots of the other skyscrapers in downtown Chicago. There's a great blue heron out there. I'll try and zoom in on it. There you go. There's a really cute bird there called a water thrush, a northern water thrush. It walks by the water and bobs its tail. Really nice. As you probably know by now, I'm doing a series on how to strengthen your ability as a caregiver. How to become what I describe as a spiritual warrior. A warrior is someone who deals with stress, who works with fear, and who armors themselves with spiritual strength. A warrior is able to make good decisions and listen to parents or family or patients or whoever they're caring for. So I'm going to say some things that might seem a little controversial or hard to accept in this talk, things about religion or spiritual belief. But first, let me tell you a story. When I was working as a hospital chaplain, I once met a woman who told me she was pronounced dead and later woke up in the morgue. She wasn't angry or terrified. She was very calm relating this to me. How would you react in that situation? So I met this woman when I worked as a chaplain in a large acute care hospital in Chicago. The poor and disadvantaged patients I met there were so inspiring. I wondered how that could be. These people have so little, and yet they're so positive in the face of serious illness, even death. Where does that strength come from? The lady I mentioned was seriously ill when I met her. Earlier at another hospital, she told me she had to be taken to emergency surgery. Before the surgery, the doctors told her there was a good chance she might not survive. She might very well die. And this is what she told her doctor. "That's all right. The Lord has got me. You just do the best you can and I'll be all right." She told me this doctor looked at her the way doctors do when patients tell them something about God. They look blank. They look like you're an alien creature who dropped out of a spaceship. They have no idea what to say. Let's pause a moment. What would you say if a patient told you this? How would you respond? You might say, "I'm praying for you too," or "I wish the best for you too," or "I admire your faith." Almost anything is better than saying nothing. To continue, she went into surgery. She woke up in a place that was dark and cold. No one was there. She called out over and over. Luckily, someone came by and got her out of the morgue, that place in the bottom of the hospital. I've been to hospital morgues. They are not nice places. It's terribly cold down there. I can only imagine what the employee went through when he or she heard a voice coming out of that place. So I asked this lady, as you look back on your life, what gives you meaning? What does it all mean? She said she had never thought about that. She asked me, "What do you think?" I said, "I think she was put here to learn not to be afraid of anything and to pass that certainty on to others." She thought that was good reason, but she also thought the lesson was to tell her that she's not in charge. That's true, I said. If people knew that, they wouldn't go out and do the stupid things they do and end up in our emergency room. The point is that this faith, It's not just faith, it's a conviction, a firm conviction that God exists and God is present for all of us. It's not an isolated thing. I saw it over and over, even in the face of death. I also saw people who were not religious and didn't have any spiritual beliefs, or people who nominally called themselves Christian or Hindu or whatever, but who weren't very strong in those beliefs. Here comes the first controversial thing I'm going to say. Ready? It is this. Based on my experience, it is better to believe in something than nothing at all. Yes, I know the trend today is to say everything is okay. Whatever you call yourself is okay. Whatever you believe or don't believe is just fine. Well, that is not true in my experience. People who have some sense of meaning, some sense of higher power, and some conviction that they are connected to something bigger than themselves, that they coped better and they were happier even as they dealt with serious illness. I might as well get over to controversial statement number 2. Dun, dun, dun. All religions are good in their own way. One that supports you and lifts your spirits and gives you meaning is better than nothing at all. In order to be a spiritual care warrior, you need meaning and purpose. Something more than the materialist, capitalist drivel about working, being a good consumer, accumulating stuff, being beautiful or powerful in some way, and all of that. I don't care if you're a Wiccan, you do Buddhist chanting to get rich, or if you're a snake handler in a church. Believe in something. Shop around. Find what's right for you. The trend these days is for people, when you ask about their spiritual beliefs, to say, well, I was raised Catholic, or I was raised Jewish, and now they don't go to church or synagogue. They're not religious or spiritual. This trend has just only increased over my lifetime. In my opinion, there is a war on religion, and the capitalist, materialist world has taken a toll. Here is a chart from Gallup, the polling company. This shows Americans' religious preferences from 1950 to 2020. As you can see, when I was born in 1957, about 90% of Americans described themselves as religious. By 2020, that dropped to 69%. At the bottom of the chart, the dotted line shows that no one described themselves as having no religious preference. By 1971, that number had only risen to 4%. Now it's at 21%. Why is this? Maybe you can answer for yourself. Why you left the church or tradition you grew up with. All those rules that seemed irrelevant, boring, priests or others who actually did harm to people. It could be any number of things. But do I think this is a problem? Yes, I do. I would never talk or think about these things if I hadn't seen in a hospital how, when the chips are down and you are on the downward slide to the end of your life, some sort of belief or faith in religion really makes a big difference. I worry about people who I know and are close to who have nothing. What will happen to them? This is why things like the law of one are so good. There is no personal God in the law of one, just like in Buddhism, by the way. But law of one is a very sophisticated way of explaining the universe and cosmology and why we were put here. I'll put a link to it in the comments. If you can find something like this that doesn't force you to do something, where you use your own free will and don't have to give up a lot of money or control, I encourage you to look into it. So I will leave you with the words of another patient who told me, God never gives you more than you can handle. He can handle this. It says in the scriptures, cast all your anxiety to Him because He cares for you. I gave all my worries to God, he said. I'm perfectly healthy. I believe this cancer is attacking my health, but I am healthy. And then he added, I believe I am not here just for me. I'm here for everyone in this hospital. I said, that was so interesting. Can you clarify? He said, we are all going through something. We are all related. If you can just contemplate that, you are on your way to arming yourself with spiritual protection. This is Chaplain Greg Holden. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe. Please like this video and give me a comment. Let me know what you think. Are these walk and talks interesting to you? Is it hard to hear? Is it distracting? Let me know. Until next time, I wish you peace.